There was a time when I liked beautiful things. Now I want them all ruined, trampled upon, reduced to dust. Just take a second and really let those words sink in. You have to ask yourself what kind of trauma, what level of absolute heartbreak could turn a person's worldview so incredibly bleak? It's a pretty chilling thought, right? And while it happens to be the exact mindset of the intensely complex protagonist at the heart of today's deep dive. So, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely break down Rina Kent's dark hockey romance, Beautiful Venom, relying entirely on a comprehensive critical review. Whether you're a seasoned veteran of the dark romance genre or just kind of fascinated by complex character psychology, we're going to unpack exactly what makes this intense story tick. So, let's jump right in. Okay, real quick, here's our roadmap. We'll be covering 1. Welcome to Greyston University. 2. The Secret Society Venor. 3. Dahlia and Cain. 4. Dark themes and tropes. And finally, 5. The Rina Kent tier ranking.
Let's kick things off with Section 1. Welcome to Greystone University.
So, this university is set in Greystone Ridge, sitting literally and figuratively under the shadow of the super elite Ravenswood Hell. And the staggering stakes of this whole universe? They're built on 4 founding families. You've got the Davenports controlling major import and export trade, the Armstrongs totally dominating energy production like oil and renewables. Then there's the Callahans, who own the largest pharmaceutical company, and the Osborns pulling the strings on major real estate and urban development. They basically hold absolute monopolies over major U.S. industries. I mean, they need each other, they benefit each other, and most importantly, they are virtually untouchable. And that brings us to the crucial point here, which is the massive power disparity that drives the whole plot. Our male lead, Cain Davenport, is a legacy member of this elite world. I mean, he's at the absolute top of the food chain. On the flip side, we have our female lead, Dahlia, who is explicitly treated as a nobody in this strict social hierarchy. She's been in the foster care system since her parents died in a car crash, which is a tragedy she actually blames herself for. So we're looking at a classic, super high-stakes collision between 2 entirely different worlds. Moving on to Section 2, the Secret Society Venor. So Venor is this wildly exclusive organization broken down into 3 tiers: trial, senior, and founder. Cain, being a legacy, is naturally a senior member. But how does Dahlia get mixed up in this dangerous web? Well, it happens in 3 distinct steps. First off, her foster sister Violet, who was the only person who truly protected her in the system, is brutally attacked and left in a coma. Convinced Venor is behind it, Dahlia decides she has to infiltrate them. Next, Cain actually catches Dahlia eavesdropping on him and his friends. But then, instead of just punishing her, Cain challenges her to attend the Venor initiation. And driven entirely by her desperate need for justice, she agrees to face their absolutely grueling trials. All right, let's zoom in on our leads in Section 3, Dahlia and Cain. There's a stark psychological contrast between these two that is just fascinating. Dahlia Thorne is fiercely loyal, tough, and somehow surprisingly optimistic. Even after enduring the absolute worst of the foster care system, she still tries to see the good in people. Cain Davenport, on the other hand, is a deeply traumatized member of the elite. His sociopathic tendencies actually stem directly from a super dark family history, which includes a horrifically abusive father and a mother dealing with severe clinical depression. It's this incredibly intense dynamic of bright resilience slamming right into cold, hardened trauma. In that dynamic, it's perfectly captured in the nickname Cain gives Dahlia, Wildflower. He literally tells her, "You're a little rebellious wildflower that thinks it can survive anywhere. But guess what? I'm your winter dahlia. No flower can survive winter, not even wildflowers." It's an intensely intimidating line, but she totally refuses to back down. Our source actually notes this one standout moment, where Cain tries to push her away, and Dahlia just simply says, "Bet," before methodically making him completely regret his actions. It's so good. Now, as a character, Cain falls squarely into the toucher and I'll kill you romance archetype. He is methodically, deliciously possessive of Dahlia. But right beneath that icy exterior, he also fiercely protects his chosen family, mainly his friends Jude and Preston. And the source actually highlights that this found family dynamic between the 3 guys is one of the absolute strongest elements of the whole story, setting up a really rich foundation for future books in the series. Let's transition into Section 4, Dark Themes and Tropes. Since this is a dark romance, the book definitely explores some intense and challenging themes. During the Venor initiation, there are 2 trials, and one is explicitly sexual in nature.
The source characterizes the scene as consensual non-consent between Dahlia and Kane. Now, just looking at this neutrally, the author does provide a clear boundary here. Kane explicitly gives Dahlia the safe word red beforehand, making it clear she can use it to stop the initiation at any time, and she never uses it. But the source astutely points out the underlying psychological complexity here, you know? Does Dahlia truly have a free choice when she fully believes that enduring this trial is her only way to find answers for her comatose sister?
Looking at it structurally, the narrative leans on a few core tropes. We see elements of primal play and praise kink, which our source highly praised for being really well executed. And while it is marketed as a dark hockey romance, hockey is honestly mostly just a backdrop. It's not Kane's big future plan. The dark romance elements and the complex trauma representation absolutely take over the sports theme. The psychological damage caused by Kane's parents is truly the driving force behind his whole character arc. Finally, let's look at Section 5, the Rina Kent tier ranking. But hey, before we get to the actual ranking, our source provided a huge warning that I absolutely need to highlight for you. Beautiful Venom contains a major plot spoiler for another one of Rina Kent's books called Kiss the Villain. The organization Venom was actually first mentioned over there. So if you're planning to read both, you absolutely must start with Kiss the Villain to avoid ruining a massive mystery that takes up like half of that book. Consider yourself warned. So the reviewer clearly holds this author in incredibly high regard, and you can see that evidenced by this super impressive 4.4 average star rating across all 8 Rina Kent books they've read so far. That shows a really strong track record, and it sets a pretty high bar for exactly where Beautiful Venom is going to land on the list. And in the definitive ranking, Beautiful Venom lands incredibly high. It secures a solid 5-star rating and takes the number 3 spot overall, sitting right behind God of Fury and God of Wrath. The source emphasized that they enjoyed the plot, the characters, and the romance in this specific book way more than in similar dark college romances out there. It's a real testament to how well the author executed those ambitious, dark themes and intricate world building. And that brings us to the end of our breakdown. The intricate monopolies, the chilling secret societies, and these deeply traumatized yet fiercely resilient characters make for just a brilliantly gripping narrative. So I want to leave you with a quick question to think about. If you've read her work, which Rina Kent book is your absolute favorite? And after seeing exactly how the Davenports run their town, are you brave enough to enroll at Greyston University? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today, and keep exploring.